This one is wild. The internet is in absolute flames right now after a diss track snippet leaked online. And it ain't just any diss. It's Lil Tim, the man at the center of King Vaughn's death, taking it way too far this time. Because in this one, he name-dropped Vaughn's mother. Yeah, you heard that right. Vaughn's mama. Fans are shocked. OTF is silent. And Chicago? Man. Chicago is rumbling. The snippet dropped at 2 a.m. on a burner SoundCloud page, and by 8 a.m., it was everywhere. But it wasn't the bar about Vaughn that lit the match. It was when Tim said, "Tell Vaughn mama get off my d*/ she crying for clout," he got zipped. And right then, the timeline exploded. People are calling it the most disrespectful line in rap since Pac said, "The situation's so hot, some say OTF might actually respond. Not in the booth, but in the streets." And what's crazy? We just got word that Lil Durk's cousin D-Tang posted a cryptic story moments after the diss dropped. And fans think it was a warning. Buckle up. This ain't just rap beef anymore. This is personal. Let's get into it. The voice was unmistakable. The beat was grimy. The message? Direct. Lil Tim, the same man who pulled the trigger the night King Vaughn died outside that Atlanta hookah lounge in 2020, had just gone full savage in the booth, and he didn't hold back. The clip was barely 40 seconds long, but it was enough to set the entire culture on fire. But what made this moment different from the dozens of subs, sneak disses, and shady IG lives before? He mentioned Vaughn's mom, by name. In the bar that triggered all of this, Tim said, "Tell Vaughn mama get off my d*/ she crying for clout," he got zipped. By mid-morning, Chicago was rumbling, not just online, but for real. On the west side, a group of OTF affiliates, reportedly including Memo 600 and Buka 600, were spotted together outside a studio in the South Loop, and one person on site told Say Cheese TV that tension was thick. "He ain't never said nothing that wild," one eyewitness posted. "Not even Quando said that. Tim Wilden for that." But it wasn't just OTF reacting. Over in O Block, things got even more real. At around 9:45 a.m., someone hung a massive banner off one of the Parkway towers that read, "Vaughn forever, Tim you next." The image of that banner spread like wildfire. Vaughn fans, old BD affiliates, and even neutral Chicago rappers started commenting on it. And for the first time since 2020, it felt like the tension was back. Like the war had restarted. Then, around 11 a.m., Kayla B., King Vaughn's sister, finally broke the silence. She went live on Instagram, visibly shaken. Eyes puffy, hands trembling, energy high. Her voice cracked as she spoke. "Don't talk on my mama. You ain't got no soul. You ain't never gone know what it feel like to lose a brother like Vaughn. You gone rot. That's on everything." The comments were a mess. Thousands of people jumping in, some egging her on, others begging her not to crash out. But in that moment, she didn't care. The disrespect had gone too far. And behind the scenes, people close to OTF started whispering. One source, who asked to remain anonymous, said there were serious talks happening between Durk and Duty Low about whether it was time to officially respond on wax, or in some other way. Because up until now, Durk had always played chess with the Vaughn situation. He dropped a he let off subtle bars, but he never mentioned Lil Tim directly. Never gave him that name recognition. It was like he refused to feed the snake. But this was different. This was family. Now here's where it gets crazy. At around 1 p.m., the snippet got taken down. The burner SoundCloud vanished. But not before DJ Academics reposted it. And under that post, fans noticed something strange. A comment from NBA YoungBoy's burner. At least, that's what people think. The account name was cryptic at 4KT_OpHunter, and it dropped a single comment under the video. "All that crying, but y'all was tough when bro got dropped." That comment got 11K likes before it disappeared. But screenshots flew, and the implication? That YoungBoy, still beefing with Durk behind the scenes, was co-signing Tim's diss. And that is when the floodgates really opened. By 2 p.m., 600 Breezy, who's always been vocal and messy when it comes to internet drama, went live from a back porch in Chicago with a bottle of Casamigos in his hand. He laughed. Tim a demon for that one. But I ain't gon' lie. Vaughn woulda wanted smoke. You can't say his mama name and think it's over. Nah, that's blood now. Then he said something wild. Durk gon' handle it. But if he don't, somebody will. And that started another wave of speculation. Because here's the part nobody wants to say out loud, but it's all over the group chats and Reddit threads. What if OTF doesn't respond? What if Lil Tim gets away with this one too? What happens then? The streets ain't the only ones talking. Over in LA, G Herbo, another Chicago legend, someone who had love for Vaughn but never took sides during the Durk versus YB drama, posted a black and white photo of Vaughn on his IG with a broken heart emoji. Under that, a caption that simply said, "This one hurt. I hope the right PPL handle it." Cryptic, but telling. At the same time, Polo G, who's been on the low since his legal drama, liked a post that said, "Clout can't be worth disrespecting a dead man's mama." And then, even Chief Keef got involved. Sosa, who rarely posts about Chicago politics anymore, dropped a tweet at 3:30 p.m. that said, "We don't talk on mamas. That's not how the real ones move." Fans went nuts. Because when Sosa speaks on Chicago beef, people pay attention. But the person whose silence is now the loudest? Lil Durk. No statement. No diss. No live. Not even a repost. Insiders say he's been in the studio all day, and rumors are swirling that he's working on a secret track titled Family Business. But others are saying he might not respond at all. Why? Because this is bigger than music. Because responding means escalation. And escalating means blood. And let's not forget, Durk lost Vaughn, D-Tang, Nunu, and more. The price of this street stuff is real. Maybe he's tired. But at the same time, this is Vaughn's mom we're talking about. You don't stay silent when your brother's killer drags his mama into the mud. Not in Chicago. Not in O-Block. The timeline got even more twisted when Vaughn's cousin Balo posted a now-deleted clip to his close friends. In it, he's sitting in a car, mask halfway on, saying, "They keep telling me to chill. But I swear on my soul, you speak on auntie, you gotta feel that." And that's when fans started asking the real question. Is this about to go offline? Because what started as a diss has now hit the deepest emotional nerve possible, a grieving mother. And in Chicago, you don't touch the mothers. Ever. As the sun started to set on the city, something even more eerie happened. At 6 p.m., several O-Block residents began posting stories showing police presence increasing around the Parkway Gardens area. Squads on corners. Undercover cars posted up. Drones in the air. One person even tweeted, "They know what time it is. They just trying to cool it down before it gets hot." At the same time, people started noticing that Quando Rondo, Lil Tim's close friend and partner in the original Vaughn altercation, had turned off his comments on Instagram. He hadn't even posted about the diss, which some fans said was a sign that even he knew Tim crossed the line. And remember, Quando already had a target on his back since the day Vaughn died. This diss? It just painted that bullseye even brighter. Now here's the biggest twist so far. At 7:15 p.m., someone hacked into the original Burner SoundCloud account and leaked a full version of the track. And in the second verse, Tim goes even deeper. He doesn't just mention Vaughn's mom again, he calls her out directly. "Mama Vaughn's still out here playing victim slash, but she raised a killer. Now y'all want a system?" The crowd went silent. Blogs stopped reposting. Even DJ academics backed off. Because now, it wasn't just disrespectful. It was calculated. And for the first time in this whole saga, even Tim's own people are going quiet. Will OTF clap back in the booth? Will Chicago clap back in real life? And most importantly, was this diss the final straw? The city didn't sleep. Not after that second verse leaked. Because that line, Mama Vaughn still out here playing victim slash, but she raised a killer. Now y'all want a system? Sent a chill through the streets. What was initially seen as a savage diss had turned into something personal, calculated, and almost surgical in its disrespect. People weren't just mad. They were stunned. Even fans who previously defended Lil Tim were posting he went too far under burner accounts. And while blogs scrambled to post reaction clips, it was the silence from certain camps that told the real story. By 8 p.m., Chicago was on edge. The regular hum of the city was replaced with something else, a buzzing undercurrent of something about to break. On Instagram, Vaughn's mom, Taysha, finally broke her silence. It wasn't a full post, it wasn't a live, just a blurry black and white picture of her son, shirtless and smiling, captioned with, "They tried to silence my baby in life. Now they want to disrespect him in death. I'm not moved." But behind that simple post was a storm. Her comment section was full, not of fans, but of other grieving mothers, Chicago women, and even celebrities showing love and support. Taraji P. Henson, who's worked on mental health awareness in Chicago, reposted it on her story with the words, "Y'all lost the line between rap and humanity." But the real twist? Taysha was never one to be in the spotlight. She rarely spoke during Vaughn's rise. She stayed away from the cameras even after his death. The fact that she posted anything at all? That said everything. It wasn't long before reports started coming in that OTF affiliates were on high alert. One anonymous source from within the crew told a local blog that Durk had called a code red, not for retaliation, but for silence. He told everybody to chill, the source said. Nobody move. Nobody post. We handle this a different way. But that silence didn't sit well with everyone. Some within OTF, younger guys, newer faces, started feeling like Durk was being too diplomatic, too patient. And when a voice memo started floating around from a supposed OTF group chat where one member said, "We letting this dude spit on Vaughn name and we quiet. That ain't OTF," the internal cracks started showing. And then came the Atlanta studio rumors. Around 10:30 p.m., unconfirmed reports began circulating that a studio on the outskirts of Atlanta, one previously rented by Quando Rondo's crew, had been sprayed up just hours after the full diss leaked. Local law enforcement wouldn't confirm anything, but footage began circulating of flashing red and blue lights, shattered glass, and a white Dodge Charger being towed away. Twitter exploded with speculation. "Chicago ain't talkin', they slidin'," one post read. But was it true? Was it really OTF? Or was it just an unrelated street hit? Nobody knew for sure. But the narrative had taken off, and the internet doesn't need confirmation to move. Meanwhile, back in Chicago, the pressure was boiling. Kayla B went live again, this time from what appeared to be Vaughn's mural in O'Block. Surrounded by candles and fans, she was crying. But this time, the tears weren't from grief. They were from rage. "You took my brother from me. You took his future. And now you want to talk on his mama? You think this funny? Okay. Let's see if you're laughing next week." She ended the stream without another word, and fans flooded the comments with heart emojis, fire emojis, and warnings to stay safe. But what came next was the shocker no one saw coming. Around midnight, a video surfaced from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the heart of 4KT, showing NBA YoungBoy's alleged cousin Black Benji reacting to the diss. In the clip, Benji is seen playing the song in the background, laughing and saying, "Tim finally said what everybody was thinking. Y'all made Vaughn a god, but forgot what he really did in them streets." That video? It hit 1 million views in less than 6 hours. And that's when Lil Reese jumped in. The Grim Reaper, as he's been called, didn't post a video or a live. He tweeted one word, "corny." Fans knew exactly what he meant. Lil Reese, a certified voice in the drill scene, was making it known. This wasn't street, this wasn't gangster. This was clown behavior. Still, the fire kept burning. At 2 a.m., just 24 hours after the snippet first dropped, a burner account posted an alleged screenshot of a text exchange between a popular DJ and an OTF producer. The message? "Durk in the booth now. He not yelling. He talkin' different. You'll see." Whether real or fake, It was all fans needed to believe that something was coming, a response, a record, or something more. But for some, it was already too late. By sunrise, Vaughn's mom Tasha had done something no one expected. She agreed to appear on a live stream interview with Candidly Cassie. The usually private mother was ready to speak. And when the stream went live at 10 a.m. sharp, tens of thousands tuned in. What they saw wasn't a woman broken by grief. It was a mother who had had enough. "I held my peace for too long," she said calmly. "I buried my baby. I buried my son. I did that with grace. But you not gon' get on no beat and disrespect the person who gave birth to him. You ain't got that right. That ain't hip-hop. That's evil." The stream went viral instantly. Clips spread like wildfire. TikTok pages uploaded reaction edits. Even mainstream outlets like Complex and The Shade Room picked it up within hours. And Cassie? She posted afterward that it was the most emotional interview I've ever done. But not everyone was feeling sympathy. In a surprise move, one of King Vaughn's old high school friends, a guy named Trey from 63rd, dropped a video saying the diss didn't shock him at all. Vaughn did what he did in them streets. "Ain't nobody off limits in war," he said. People acting like Vaughn was a saint. Bro was a demon too. Let Tim say his piece. That video stirred a whole new firestorm. Vaughn's fans were livid. "You clout chasin' over your dead homie," one commenter wrote. Another said, "He always hated Vaughn. Jealous since high school." Meanwhile, back on the south side, tensions were growing offline. Local reporters said police presence around Parkway Gardens had tripled. Helicopters had been seen circling. Unmarked cars were parked 2 blocks down from the mural. And while cops didn't say what they were monitoring, residents knew what it was about. One older woman from the neighborhood told WGN News, "When they start talking about mamas, the guns come out. That's just how it go." And now? Now the city is sitting on the edge of something explosive. Nobody knows what Lil Durk's next move is. Nobody knows if Lil Tim is ready for the blowback. But one thing is clear, this situation ain't over. So here we are. A diss that started as a 40-second leak is now on the verge of spiraling into something the culture might not be able to walk back from. Vaughn's mom has spoken out. Chicago's tension is thick in the air. Fans are split. And now? It looks like Lil Tim's own camp is cracking under the weight of the drama. Late last night, exclusive footage began circulating online, allegedly showing a man closely affiliated with Lil Tim, rumored to be his cousin Mello, entering a gas station in Atlanta wearing a Quando Rondo chain, then exiting minutes later looking visibly panicked, glancing over his shoulder. Moments after he leaves the screen, gunshots ring out in the background. 2 shots. Then silence. And just like that, the internet lost its mind. The video was first uploaded to Reddit, then reposted to a private blog called The Bunker ATL. Within hours, mainstream platforms picked it up. Fans immediately linked the footage to the diss drama, claiming this was an immediate retaliation attempt by Chicago affiliates, some even speculating that the warning shots were a message. "Y'all went too far," one viral tweet read. And the streets don't forget. Police in Atlanta did confirm that a shots-fired incident happened at that gas station around the same time, but no suspects were arrested and no one was reported injured. Still, the symbolism was loud and clear. Lil Tim may have bars, but the streets have reach. And it doesn't stop there. In a development nobody saw coming, one of Vaughn's closest old friends, Boss Top, who had been silent since the snippet leaked, suddenly went live from a car late at night. Sitting next to 2 other masked-up dudes, Boss Top didn't say names, but his energy said everything. "Sometimes silence ain't peace," he said. "Sometimes silence is just the calm before the storm." He followed that by showing off a photo on his phone, a black screen with white text that read, "We're not crashing out. We're cleaning up." That phrase, "cleaning up," took over the internet. Fans immediately started decoding what it meant. Was it about music? Was it street talk? Was it a coded message? Within minutes, Twitter was flooded with theories. And then, a shocking twist hit TikTok. A verified account posted a private message from a studio engineer in Atlanta, who claimed Durk's team had reserved a session under a fake name earlier that day. Not only that, the message said Durk came in with no jewelry, no entourage, just a single USB drive and a quiet play-this-back demeanor. The track he reportedly played? An unreleased song titled Mama's Cry. According to the engineer, the track was not a diss, but a letter, a raw emotional storytelling piece addressed to Vaughn's mother. In it, Durk reportedly talks about regret, loyalty, and watching people try to profit off Vaughn's name. One bar stood out. "I ain't never said Tim name, 'cause I knew what it meant / but playin' with Vaughn mama? You just signed your death certificate in pen." The engineer swore it was one of the coldest but calmest verses he'd ever heard. No shouting. No drill beat. Just pain. Controlled pain. If true, it could be Durk's silent nuke. But wait, it gets crazier. Hours after that news hit, Quando Rondo broke his silence. Not with a song, but with a messy IG live that looked like he was pacing inside a dark kitchen. High energy, yelling, clearly off something, Quando let loose. "Y'all act like my bro ain't got the right to talk. He been quiet for years. He lost friends too. Y'all keep trying to martyr Vaughn, like he was a saint. Nah, Tim said what needed to be said. Deal with it." He ended the stream by showing a screenshot of a text from Tim that read, "They don't like the truth. That's why it burn." But as bold as Quando tried to act, fans weren't buying it. One top comment under the reposted live read, "If Tim's so real, why he hiding behind songs and you doing the talking?" And then the final twist. Just as the drama hit peak level, an alleged FBI document leaked, suggesting that the federal government had been quietly monitoring all activity related to OTF, for KT, and affiliates of both Vaughn and Tim since early 2021. The document, unconfirmed but looking very real, stated that any mention of retaliatory violence on social media or in music would now be subject to federal review. That sent the community into a frenzy. Suddenly, what was just rap beef looked like a RICO trap waiting to happen. Some fans immediately started telling Durk not to respond. "It's bait," one viral comment said. "They want y'all to crash out." Others felt different. "Forget the feds. They disrespected Mama Vaughn. Some lines gotta be answered." And that's where the story sits right now, balanced on a knife's edge. Lil Tim still hasn't apologized. Quando's making it worse. Vaughn's mom is being lifted up as a symbol of grace, and yet still being dragged through the dirt. OTF is quiet, but everybody knows the silence ain't peace, it's strategy. The diss? Still trending. The pain? Still raw. And the next move? Nobody knows. So here we are, another day in the rap world where real life and the music blur into something way bigger than entertainment. This started with a diss. A single bar. A few disrespectful lines that were never supposed to get this far. But now, it's a full-blown war of words, loyalty, pain, and power. And the question everyone's asking: what now? Is Durk really gonna drop that Mama's Cry track and take the high road? Or is OTF plotting something behind the scenes? Is this about to turn into another tragic headline that the world watches and forgets, while families grieve behind closed doors? And what about Lil Tim? Is this his last moment of clout before the walls close in? One thing's for sure, this ain't just music anymore. This is emotion. This is ego. This is real life being played out on Instagram lives, burner accounts, and diss tracks. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Lil Tim crossed the line? Should OTF respond? Or is silence the smarter move? Was this all a setup for clicks? Or is the beef really back on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Be honest. Be respectful. But don't be quiet. This conversation is too real to ignore. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and turn on post notifications, because we're watching this story unfold in real time. This isn't just rap drama.